Welcome to Gooseberry Science and Educational Videos. Our Gooseberry mascot is waving you in for a deep dive into Adobe Firefly, a tool that's doing way more than just jumping on the creative AI bandwagon. It's actually trying to solve its biggest problem.
Okay, let's get right into it. We are talking about Adobe Firefly, which is Adobe's massive entry into the generative AI space. And look, this isn't just another AI art generator. It was built from the very beginning with creative professionals and businesses in mind. And that, as you're about to see, makes all the difference.
You know, to really get why Firefly is such a big deal, we have to rewind a little bit, back to that initial explosion of AI art. It felt like a creative big bang, right? All of a sudden, anyone could create these stunning visuals with just a few words. The hype was off the charts, but it didn't take long for everyone to realize this new frontier was kind of the Wild West. And this right here is the smoking gun. What's so powerful about this quote is who it's from, the founder of Midjourney, one of the biggest players in the space. He's admitting that most models were trained by just scraping billions of images off the internet. This created this huge cloud of legal and ethical questions about copyright. And for working artists and businesses, that was a massive red flag.
So, into all of this chaos steps a name we all know, Adobe. They saw the problem, they saw the legal mess, and they decided to build something totally different. Firefly was their answer, an AI tool built on a foundation of safety and ethics right from day one.
And this brings us to the core promise, commercially safe. And that isn't just some marketing buzzword. It means every single image used to train Firefly was either properly licensed from Adobe's own huge stock library, or it was from the public domain where the copyright had expired. For any company or creative pro, this is everything. It means you can actually use what you create without looking over your shoulder, worried about getting a lawsuit. It's built-in peace of mind.
All right, so we know it's safe, but what can it actually do? Well, let's take a little tour of the Firefly toolbox, because believe me, it goes way beyond just making pretty pictures. And it looks like our Gooseberry is excited to explore.
So let's start with the one we all know and love, text to image. You type some words, it makes an image. But just look at the quality we're talking about here. The detail, the lighting, the fact that it understands complex ideas like modernist architecture and futurism, it's just so polished and professional. But it's not just for super serious, photorealistic stuff. The model is incredibly versatile. You can create something totally imaginative and fun, like this teddy bear sprinting through a city. This just shows the creative range you have, from a serious architectural rendering to a fun graphic for a social media post, all from a simple sentence. Okay, now for a feature that honestly just feels like straight-up magic. It's called Generative Fill, and it is an absolute game changer for anyone who's ever wasted hours in Photoshop trying to edit something out of a photo. It lets you just select an area of an image and tell it what you want there instead. So imagine this. You got a great photo of a person, but the background is just boring. With Generative Fill, you could just select everything behind them and type in watching the sunset over the ocean. And boom, in seconds, the AI completely rebuilds the scene. It's unbelievably powerful. And this is where you really start to see Adobe's ambition. Firefly is not just about images. It's quickly becoming a full-blown creative studio. Our little Gooseberry director knows what's up. We're talking about tools to generate video, clean up your audio to sound like it was recorded in a studio, create sound effects from a text prompt, even compose custom soundtracks. It's becoming an all-in-one multi-tool for any creator. Okay, so we've seen what Firefly can do. Now let's dig into the why. Why is Firefly so different? What is the Adobe advantage? Well, it really boils down to a few huge key things.
We've already hit on this, but it's so important it's worth saying again. This is the #1 differentiator. While other companies were building on a foundation of, let's be honest, legal quicksand, Adobe built on solid ground. This ethical, commercially safe approach is their entire promise to the creative community.
And here's the other huge advantage. Adobe already owns the entire creative world. A staggering 90% of creative pros use Photoshop. That means Firefly has a built-in audience of millions of people. They don't have to convince you to try a new app. They just put these incredible tools right inside the software you already use every single day. And that integration is everything. Firefly isn't some separate toy you play with. It's a productivity machine that's woven directly into the professional workflow. It helps you brainstorm ideas faster. It helps you create assets from scratch. And when a client asks for a last-minute change, you can do it in seconds with Generative Fill. It speeds up every single part of a project.
So, where is all this going? Well, Adobe isn't stopping at just making better tools. They're trying to fundamentally change the creative process itself, and they're doing it with this idea they call agentic creativity, all powered by the new Firefly AI assistant.
So what on earth does agentic even mean? Well, think of it this way. It's about shifting from being a tool operator to being a creative director. Instead of you clicking through a dozen menus and doing 20 steps yourself, you just describe the final outcome you want. And the AI assistant figures out how to make it happen, using all the Adobe apps as its toolbox.
Here's how it might work in the real world. You could just say something like, take this product photo, cut out the background, put it on a beautiful beach at sunset, add my company's logo from Illustrator, and then create social media posts for Instagram stories and a Facebook ad. The assistant then goes and does all of that, while you stay in the director's chair, just giving feedback and making the final calls.
And that really brings us to the big final question. A tool like Firefly represents a massive shift. It's not about replacing artists, it's about augmenting them. When the AI can handle all the tedious technical steps, the creator is freed up to focus on what really matters, the vision, the idea, the story. So as AI becomes this true creative co-pilot, what does that mean for the future of your own creativity? So a really exciting thing to think about.